Hello everybody, my name is Pawan Badlani and welcome to day 2 of handwriting and signature analysis training. So today we will learn about the zones in handwriting analysis. Now, as you can see, the zone indicates a couple of things. It indicates the id, ego, superego, the past, present, future, the upper, middle and lower part of the body, the world of fantasy and mental illness, self-centeredness and childishness, egotism, that is the ego of an individual, obsession with the body, money, family and sex, uptightness, frustration, lying, intelligence, efficiency, fastness, falling apart, unhappiness, concreteness, seeking variety, hypochondria, abnormal sexuality. There are a lot of aspects, right, in zones. So today we are going to learn a lot of new and interesting things about how zones can determine all of these different aspects. Now, primarily, there are 3 zones in our handwriting. They are the upper zone, the middle zone, and the lower zone. If you take the word geographically, the E, O, R, A, etc. are in the middle zone. The top of H and L are in the upper zone, and the lower part of G and Y alphabet are in the lower zone. As you can see, this particular part over here, this is the upper zone, middle zone, and lower zone, the way it is written. In the example above, the head of H and T, this is H and T, that is in the upper zone. Over here, W, E and N, W, E and N are in the middle zone, and the tail of Y, the loop that you see over here, that is in the lower zone. So we are going to be talking about the upper zone, the middle zone and the lower zone. Now, as such, there are more than 10 different variations of the upper zone, middle zone and the lower zone combined. But today we will talk about the dominating upper zone, dominating middle zone and dominating lower zone. Now, let me give you a couple of interpretations of zones in handwriting analysis. So there are 3 ways of interpreting the zones. The first is the Freudian model. It follows Freud's theory of personality. Accordingly, there are 3 aspects of human personality: the id, ego and superego. When we apply this theory of personality to graphology, the lower zone represents the id, which is instinctive impulses that operates on the pleasure principle, that deals with money and sex. So it seeks pleasure and avoids pain. The ego represents the middle zone. Ego is the executive aspect of our personality. It is ruled by reality principle. It takes into account not merely our instinctive impulses, but checks if they can legitimately be satisfied in any given context. The upper zone represents the super ego. Just one moment, guys. Yes. The upper zone represents the super ego. Around the age of 7, the child develops its own conscience. It internalizes the external rules and regulations of the society. These become the content of the superego. The second way of interpreting the zones is in terms of time. The id, which is in the lower zone, that is in the past. The ego, which is in the middle zone, that is in your present. And the superego, which is in the upper zone of your handwriting, represents the future. There is yet a third model of interpretation. It is the image of our body. According to the body image, the upper zone represents your head, the middle zone represents your trunk, and the lower zone represents from the trunk to the feet, which means from the abdomen area to the feet. So this is what it's all about. Different kinds of zones are there. There is the upper zone, there is the middle zone, and there is the lower zone. Keeping it very, very simple for you, that the upper zone, you consider it as the head. The middle zone, you consider it as at the middle part of the body. That's the from the neck over here till the abdomen. abdominal area of the body, and then from the abdominal area till your feet is the lower zone that you consider. Now, have a look at this. The upper zone, which is in the Freudian model, it is the superego. The time model, which means that it represents the future aspect. The body model is the upper body. It is the domain of the mind. All that we think, create, imagine, and hope are in the head. Therefore, thinking, fantasy, imagination, ideas, illusions, philosophy, and religion are all there, all over here. The upper zone. The middle zone, the middle part of the body, the ego, which means the present moment. The middle zone represents our daily life. It will indicate whether we are happy or not. It can also reveal whether we are egoist by nature or feel small and insecure. It can also tell if we are behaving in a childish manner. And the lower zone, that is the lower part of the body, that is the id, and that talks about the past. It is the realm of the libido. It contains instincts, urges, longings, and desires. It can show our attitude towards our home life, body, basic drives for sustenance, money, health, and sex. There are a lot of people who are kind of obsessed with money and sex as well, and people who get over obsessed with sports also. So you have to check the lower zone of their handwriting. If someone is extremely fond of eating, great food, is a great communicator, right, and someone who likes wearing good clothes as well, you check the middle zone. Someone who comes up with the most amazing ideas, the most creative ideas, is constantly daydreaming and constantly thinking about how they can do things differently, likes to delegate their work, is very smart and efficient in doing their job, right, and does not move an inch, right. He or she delegates the job and mentally works on everything. You check the upper zone. So an excellent zone proportion will be something like the following. The middle zone should be half the size of the upper zone and lower zone. That means the upper and lower zone should be double the length of the middle zone. So as I was saying that we will be talking about the dominating upper zone, middle zone, lower zone. So let's talk about the dominating upper zone. So have a look over here. In a normal condition, a dominating upper zone indicates that the person is living in a fantasy world at the expense of reality. This particular person has a whole lot of ideas with very little basis to support. This is a person who has no basis in reality. He or she is more theoretical than practical. After taking drugs, if the individual hallucinates, his or her handwriting will have a dominating upper zone. It is because the hallucination is in his or her head and nowhere else. If the upper zone dominates to an exaggerated degree, it indicates abnormality. The writer may not be functioning normally in life because he or she has his or her head in the clouds. So have a look over here. This is the dominating upper zone. If you carefully notice the F alphabet, the H alphabet over here, right? The L alphabet, the T alphabet, again the L alphabet over here, the F alphabet. So this is the dominating upper zone of the handwriting. Next, let's talk about the dominating middle zone of the handwriting. So the dominating middle zone will mean self-centeredness. This particular person has childish behavioral patterns and is concerned about outward appearances and the immediate moment. This particular person is egoistic and may want immediate gratification. So if you can just see, it's neither going in the upper zone, neither it's going in the lower zone. It is very, very strong in the middle zone of the handwriting. All right. So if you have, your generosity will be appreciated. There is no upper zone. There is no lower zone. It's very, very small. But the middle zone is extremely exaggerated. So that would mean that this particular person is egoistic, wants immediate gratification, and is more concerned about outward appearances. And last but not the least, let's talk about the dominating lower zone. Dominating lower zone signifies that an individual is concerned with material and the physical aspects of life and the basic drives. This particular person is rather obsessed with the body, the physical in general, money, material aspects of life, attitudes towards loved ones, family, and sexuality. But if it is overdone, then it is the lack of what they want to project. So if you see, dominating lower zone, very large and elongated Y alphabet over here, the P alphabet over here, right? This is the dominating lower zone. So a person like this is obsessed with sex and money and material aspects of life. They want, you know, things which they can touch and feel, right? That is money. So, and they want all the material aspects, want all of the luxury in their life. So it is very, very important to check the zones in the handwriting as to the way a person behaves. Okay, the way a person behaves, you should actually see their handwriting first. If you find a particular set of behavior to be very odd, either someone is constantly thinking of a lot of new ideas and is just in their own zone, constantly think of new ideas, daydreaming a lot, right? Once likes delegating the work, is quite intellectual, you check the upper zone. Someone who just loves a lot of great food, great communication, loves wearing great clothes as well, just likes to be in the present moment, you check the middle zone. Someone obsessed with money, sex, and sports, right? You check the lower zone. So this is a basic interpretation that I have shared with you. So if you have enjoyed this particular session today, do send in a small text or video testimonial on WhatsApp on 9930826643 or 8928216871. I would request you to join my group Inspire Me by Pavan Badlani for exclusive tips on graphology and personal development. The link will be sent to you on the WhatsApp group. Hope you enjoyed the day 2 session. See you tomorrow on day 3, where you will learn about the baseline, types of handwriting speeds, slant in handwriting, and sizes of handwriting. This is your host Pavan Badlani signing off. Thank you so very much once again for being here on day 2. See you tomorrow on day 3. Thank you so very much once again.